Has a lot of solid routing knowledge as well as execution. So to see him already end up having one loss, that actually says a lot to Arious13. And right off the bat, they have the bow. Wow. And it's hard to not accidentally give people ridiculous nicknames. Anyways, we had a map check, and of course, in that moment, I realized I had a Freudian slip for no reason, and we are going to be seeing a Tier 1 check of the tree pull. We saw one hand in the bush, and actually, that was two bushes and one sign if we're going to get technical, and wow, that was an interesting fairy tree.
Yeah, if only they had like a bug net and a bottle.
Oh, tell me about it. And
well, you see, if you have a bottle, you can keep a fairy. And oh, you didn't mean literally tell you about it. Whoops.
Oh no, I forgot. I'm streaming with you. I gotta make sure to not get too carried away with my expressions. Just kidding, I'm going to totally. Anyways, after getting a big 20 and a blue rupee, we ended up seeing AdirondackRick immediately head back to the house, and Arious13 follows very quickly. Oh, and we're getting some bomb farming. Interesting. Fun fact: around this time of season's actually perfect for harvesting bombs.
Yeah, they fall right off the trees. Just make sure they don't fall from a high branch, otherwise it could spell disaster.
True. Oh, I must be mistaken. They're pulling these from bushes. What they must be doing is harvesting blueberries.
Big blueberry bombs. Being in bushes.
That'd make one explosive pie recipe.
Well, you haven't had my grandma's blueberry pie.
I'll take your word for it.
Do you think you might have?
No, I haven't.
Looks like AdirondackRick is playing up to his character sprite of the hair and taking a rest by the finish line here.
Although if he's already almost finished, that is impressive. Meanwhile, the glove is at the race. Whoa, so we already know where Rick's going to be grabbing the glove. And Arious soon to follow, which means they will eventually need another bomb. Actually, they'll technically need another 2 bombs, but maybe they'll end up finding some when they go to Kakariko.
Yeah, or if they pick up 20 rupees, they'll be able to buy some from the shop.
Good call. And let's see how quick Arious gets through here. Are they going to make it under 8? No, they made it under 10, but still only 9 seconds.
Yeah, it takes a little longer without the sword.
That is true. That is true. So at this point, we're going to end up getting a library check. And from inside, we are going to be finding... Oh, it's just an arrow upgrade.
Huh. But hey, they've got the bow already.
Oh, that is true. Having the bow... Having the bow is actually a very
Come on, go in! Aw, I thought he was going to visit me.
Oh, that would have been great.
AdirondackRick wisely using his 1 bomb to get into this bomb farm shed.
That is a good point.
Ooh, tricky with the rats there, but...
Yeah, that was a nice maneuver.
Unlike the bomb bushes, these always will spawn the bombs under the pots. Plus an arrow pickup, which I didn't even know about, but he's got bow and no other weapon to use, so that's a really good call.
That's a solid decision.
Arious made the same call, but I guess he was hoping to grab some bombs out of the back of the tavern first.
Probably. I don't blame him at that point.
So the runners are going to be getting 30 rupees in the Thieves' Hideout, the green hut. They'll still need 25 more. Good wall chicken there. Leaving that there for Simon Belmont.
I named that one Gertrude.
Gertrude? Why?
Gertrude was a great chicken. So now we're going to see what Rick is going to be getting over in... Oh, going to the well first. Interesting.
Apparently Rick did check the tavern while he was offline, so...
I see.
But yeah, there's another like 10 to 15 rupees in here.
Oh, very nice.
Get all the blue ones. I think actually 20. I think there's 2 behind the bombable wall here, and then a blue rupee between. Who cares? There's 300 there.
Looks like it's not that much of a difference now. We went from got a cert. Oh my goodness, the hook shot.
Tickle
And
beam.
bombers. And another 100 rupees. Well, if you ever had to worry about Zora, well, there you go.
And hey, with that glove being in Kakariko Village, Zora logic is on the table.
Yes, it is. And we got the Fisher Price My First Shield over at the bottle vendor, who's apparently now the shield vendor. Kakariko Flea Market's a very interesting place.
I like the one in Tucson better in Earthbound. You can buy the for sale sign.
Ooh, good call. Good call. Meanwhile, the 4 chests down in here, we have our first sword in 5 minutes and 46 seconds. We got some bombs. We have a bomb upgrade. And not a whole lot of anything else. But what's behind the wall? We're going to find out. Much like Let's Make a Deal.
Do they find out? I didn't know Wayne Brady watched Randomizer. I bet he does, though. I think everybody watches Link to the Past Randomizer these days. I mean, come on, because, like, who doesn't love Legend of Zelda? At least people, you know, they grew up with Super Nintendo. Like, they all played Link to the Past, and they're all, like, they kind of forgot about it, and were just kind of like, yeah, this game was cool. But now it's like a whole new game. That's what I love about Randomizer.
Oh, absolutely. It takes a puzzle game that has platformer elements and RPG elements, and they decide, hey, I got a great idea. Let's make it an even bigger puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's always changing. Who could complain?
Ooh, bomb pool.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh, Okay. It's kind of funny. He walked up to it, and then he took a shot when he was walking over it.
It's also interesting that he pulled the bombs, and then there were 3 bombs where the mushroom spot is. Ooh, and only 10 arrows in the tree. Interestingly enough, does not go and check Lumberjack Cave.
Yeah, neither will Arious, so we're not going to know just yet if there's a hard requirement on Aghanim yet. But, you know.
Oh, but we got Arious over at the Sanctuary. So this could play out to be several things, especially if he starts heading up to the mountain.
Yeah, I want to see him equip Hookshot here. He can skip 2 door transitions here if he equips Hookshot and does a nifty little trick. Arious, meanwhile, going to the graveyard, going to drop into the escape side room here. Glove allows him to do this. Oh, he did the thing I said that I wanted him to do.
Yeah, that is a very fun way to actually not have to push extra blocks and just skip a little bit of time. Yeah,
not to mention you have to walk.
Ooh.
You have to walk outside and back in. Looks like Arious is fixing to use that key and do the dark rooms here. He's got swords, so he'll be able to navigate with the sparkles pretty well. And AdirondackRick is going to pick up 5 items in the mini Moldorm cave. Be quiet, Arious needs to do some audio cues here in the dark room.
Oh yeah, my bad. I forgot. With all of my talking right there, I should have stayed quiet. Fortunately, though, with the hookshot, even though they have the sword, this does mean it causes a lot less hassle when you want to kill those mini Moldorms. What we have going on inside, though, is a piece of heart. Oh, wow, the Master Sword, not a bad upgrade. 50 more rupees.
Moon Pearl. He's going to take that and do a fake flippers immediately, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. The only thing I think he might consider doing otherwise is checking Ice Cave just to get it out of the way, but he might also wait until he has both the flute and the boots, which, not a bad play. However, that could also be a progression item.
Arious found a piece of heart in the dark room. He made his way through there pretty easily. He probably just got his cell phone out and used it to look around in the dark.
Not a bad call.
I'm gonna get an uncle check. An uncle was already checked, so Arious is gonna clean up Hyrule Castle and go to Zelda's vacation home.
Not a bad way to explain it. Meanwhile, over in the Ice Rod Cave, we're going to end up finding out what is hiding in there. If it's going to be a progression item, this could be a big deal. Otherwise, no. That's
didn't fake flipper. I would have thought he would have used that moon pearl. Oh, he's gonna wait till he has 500 rupees, obviously. Okay.
Oh, that's not a bad plan, come to think of it, because you could take the chance, but then you'd have the opportunity wasted.
And speaking of
but
flippers,
there's the flippers. So it looks like Arious is going to fake flipper.
So if Rick does end up doing a fake flippers before grabbing that, it's not going to be as much of a sequence break as he might think.
True. And on top of that, that does suggest that there could be literally anything, but less likely to have something amazing in the waterfall. There might be something decent on the Zora ledge, and Zora's most likely going to just throw down another big 20, or maybe a piece of heart, or insert item that's not really worth it here. Watch that be like the hammer now. Oh. Getting in, oh, intel check. Got Thieves Town as the green pendant. Got a piece of heart, 3 bombs, or the whole heart, and the hammer. You just cleaned out the old man's garage, and it turned out pretty solid.
It's like when you go to a garage sale where like some old person's selling like Nintendo World Championships for $5.
Exactly. There's a never opened in-box copy of Mother 2 for $12.
Original unrevised script of Star Wars Episode 4.
Oh.
99 cents. It's just a piece of paper.
Speaking of piece of paper, something equally not worth it ended up being where Arious went to grab, and he decided to save and quit, and now he's heading towards South Hyrule, going to head over to the dam. Meanwhile, over where AdirondackRick is, we see him clearly heading up towards Eastern Palace. Both of these, as we know, clearly good ideas, especially since when Arious gets to the mini Moldrum Cave, he's going to immediately get a Master Sword, and then be able to flipper all sorts of places, not having to necessarily worry about Zora just yet.
Yeah, still a little short on those rupees, unfortunately. I do like AdirondackRick going into Eastern Palace. We won't see what's in the first chest, unfortunately. I don't think.
not until Arious goes to it, unfortunately.
So I'm not sure. We're playing on version 27, I believe, and I don't know.
That is correct.
I don't know what the emphasis is on dungeons compared to version 26, but
for the most part, from what I've seen, it's more or less the same.
Okay.
I think they did a slight change where you don't get as much, but you still get
tickling the mold dorms.
Yup. Give them a nice arrow massage. Getting the moon pearl.
So we saw Rick for a second there. Didn't see.
Looks like our tracker's just getting it all
like we missed
set
2
back up.
chests. Next time he pauses, we can see if he has map or compass. But it's like just we didn't see what was in the first 2 chests. He did use the hookshot shortcut. It looks like.
Oh, looks like there's a piece of heart.
Yep, 3 items in Eastern Palace, and it looks like it's an insignificant pendant. Apparently, also, Rick talked to Sahasrara and found out that Thieves Town was a green pendant. So
yes,
that's a little trick if you. It's a pretty recent change, version 25 or version 26, I think. If you talk to Sahasrara, he will tell you where the green pendant is. The green pendant, of course, being significant because you can get a randomized item from Sahasrara if you show him the green pendant. So it looks like Rick's stream is behind by about 20 seconds right now, so if you see Arious freeze for a little bit, then it's just because we're trying to sync up the streams here.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Rick going through the dark room with nothing more than a sword and a little bit of hope.
This is a little time that Arious is going to gain on Rick here, so having the flippers, he can actually go straight from Ice Cave over to Hobo, check the floating island, and then over to my waifu fairy cave. It doesn't have to worry about doing fake flippers, and he's got his 500 rupees.
Yeah, he can easily just make quick work out of all of that. In the meantime, it looks like Rick didn't really pick up too much of significance over in Eastern Palace so far. But he's
and
now...
Arious did not freeze. We're just syncing up the streams here.
Yep. And it looks like Rick is going... Well, he's going in for a fairy.
Yeah,
and
he's
from that
into
bow
the
selection...
Mm-hmm.
From that bow selection, it looks like he's going to, at the very least, go in and get the extra rupees from the right side of this area.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's a fantastic strat. I've never actually seen anyone do quite that. So in case you didn't catch what Rick just did there, he shot an arrow at the Cyclops while the eye was closed, so that in the dark, when he sees the arrow move, he knows that the Cyclops is active and he can kill it. That was really brilliant, and I'm sure people have done it before, but that was the first time I saw it, and it was really impressive.
Now that is genuinely impressive, and on top of that, the closest thing I saw to that was someone shoot the wall and then use the sword beams to kill the whatever the tentacle blobs, if you will, and then find out from there by using an arrow where it was, and then waiting, walking forward, and then shooting. But having it while it's moving does give you more intel in the event that it does start following your movements before you can shoot it twice. Or in this case, once.
Say hi to Waterfall Fairy here. You know what's funny? Okay, I just realized this. I was watching a friend play Vanilla, and you know the single arrow, you gotta get that! You gotta get it!
The one true arrow that actually defeats Ganon. Oh, big 20. Ouch. Yeah. Going for the gamble, getting the red pendant.
Hey, pedestal could be required. So
maybe that pendant's actually made out of the big 20.
A lot of people know that the NPC sitting at the bar is like the cross product NPC, right? Because he tells the jokes that I wrote. A lot of people know that. And...
Not to interrupt you, but that was praise be to B-Twerp at the waterfall, or sorry, at the
we should just call it Glory Be. Glory Be.
Oh, Glory Be. Oh, I like that.
But so, and as I mentioned, the Waterfall Fairy is my waifu in this game. If you play Vanilla Link to the Past and you talk to the NPC at the tavern, he talks about the Waterfall Fairy and talks about how beautiful she is. I did not actually realize, like,
no kidding,
those two things connected until recently.
That is actually hilarious.
Alright, so Rick
is unfortunately going into the same back of escape that disappointed Arious.
Yeah, probably gonna grab that piece of heart as well. And Arious catching up, grabbing Sahasrarla's hammer.
And he is making quick work of that area just to go and kill the rat, get the extra key, head all the way down, get to that other chest, leave that mystery.
AdirondackRick does have the advantage of having Master Sword in here, though, and he's making good use of his sword beams to kill the rats.
Absolutely. On the bright side, Arious is now heading to Eastern Palace, so we're going to see what disappointing items he's going to pick up in the first two chests. And it looks like overall it was not too important. Meanwhile, it looks like Rick is now going, I assume, to the rest of Escape? Nope. They have Dark World access. They're immediately heading into the Dark World, getting some logic, heading over to Hype Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad call, all things considered. Because
and
right
with
now,
Hookshot, they could possibly route... Oh, they've got Hammer Bow. They're probably going to go straight to Pod.
That's not a bad call, now that you put it that way. I would have originally considered going all the way to Village of Outcasts, but since they do have everything for Pod, why wouldn't you?
And as you were just mentioning Village of Outcasts, since they have Hookshot, they can access. They can go east to west from the pod area to Village of Outcast.
Yep.
And if they find Mirror on the way, that'll be a couple more items and even a check on Lumberjacks, probably.
That would be actually fantastic. Although, surprisingly late to check Lumberjack, but all things considered, it makes sense considering how else they've been routing. It's funny, you normally see so many people check Lumberjack as one of the first few things. One has to hypothesize that was probably because it was very standard to have seen in the spring tournament.
Right, but that's also partly because the spring tournament was standard mode, so they were already naturally at Sanctuary and had already checked Link's house, etc. But I mean, I am not going to argue with the people that made it to the bracket stage. I went something like I went 1 in 5 in Swiss, so don't listen to my strategies, guys.
Yeah, my record was not that great either. I'm not going to pretend, but it's just fascinating to see this.
Ooh, Ether on Pyramid.
Very nice. Having as many medallions as you can before finding out whether or not you're going to need them, very fantastic.
So, assuming Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are both crystals, and since we already see 2 pendants, there's a pretty good chance of that. Assuming they're both crystals, each individual medallion has a 55% chance of being required.
Yes.
If they're unknown. So let's also think there's a 2/3 chance Rick has the medallion required for each. So there's a 4 in 9 chance, or 44% chance that Rick has all the medallions he's going to need. Which actually makes sense, because that's 100 minus the 55 from Quake being required. Math, guys!
Math!
My name is Cross Product for a reason, and I apologize.
It's like reading Rainbow with numbers.
It's like counting Rainbow.
Counting Rainbow.
With
Speaking of counting, you could say bye-bye to 100 more rupees thanks to the worst delivery service of Hyrule Kiki.
Yeah, it's Counting Rainbow with Brent Spiner. I hope at least like 3 of you got that joke, and I apologize for it. Just dumb. It makes a lot of sense. Although Jordy is an engineer, so he would be good with numbers. But I mean, Data's a freaking android, so.
True. Very true.
Actually, Data is better at reading than Jordy. Do you ever see like the episodes where Data has to like scan like entire like history logs of planets that they've like just discovered?
I haven't, but that is actually pretty awesome to hear. Meanwhile, though, Rick ends up picking up the key. Arius makes a super quick work out of the Armos Knights. And now I can't stop thinking about seeing that episode. Anyways.
Interesting. Bombing that wall from this side and then having to wait out the explosion. Maybe he meant to bomb it before grabbing the chest. As I think bombs actually explode during chest opening animations. You see that a lot in Thieves Town.
We also see that a lot in Hype Cave, indeed.
Right, yeah. And in Kakariko Well.
Oh, good point. Meanwhile, inside of Mullet Mansion, we currently have a bunch of keys.
Pretty par for the course.
Absolutely. Shoutouts to Dr. Bobtastic for giving it the name, the Mullet Mansion.
Business in the front, party in the back. So Arius is... Oh, he co-jacked to that bomb. Probably just trying to dodge a spear or something. So Arius is probably heading straight up to pod, and he's right on Rick's heels in this line of exploration. However, remember that Arius has already checked Zora's Domain and Waterfall Fairy, so he and the front half of Hyrule Castle. So I'd say the runners are pretty even at this point.
Yeah, there's really not that much of a difference between both of the runners at this point. Sure, they're in different places, one might have one more item than the other, but
Map check.
realistically, okay. So we got 5
So,
over at
5 in Pod, Blue,
Pod.
and Skull. Yeah.
6 is in the Light World. I think we saw that as Tower of Hera.
And that was the flute that AdirondackRick just picked up in the 3
nice.
jellyfish, 3 bumper mole room.
Very
2
nice.
statue, 4 skull ledge.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
That's the official name.
Oh, okay. I see.
That was in the strategy guide back in 1994.
Man, that's funny.
Didn't this game come out in 91? What am I even talking about?
No, it's the unofficial official guide, kind of like what they did for Killer Instinct back in the day.
No, I'm so dumb. It was 92 because we had the 25th anniversary this year.
Ah, okay. Makes sense. AdirondackRick pulling off the bomb strat, not having the statue recognize the damage tick twice, and accidentally relocking him out. Ooh, getting the early arrow to make sure that Mini Helmosaur is down. Meanwhile, Arious is picking up that ether, and with that extra key, he immediately goes south into I don't know what to call that hallway aside from obnoxious.
That is the last small key there. Unless he skipped the... No, he went through the center door in the front immediately, so only keys left are the one to the left, which goes to the dark room, and the one in the basement, which goes to Helmosaur King.
Yep. And the first chest is a mystery. And the second chest is also a mystery. Oh, they were dungeon items. You got it, champ.
Yeah, nothing new on the menu. You know, it's funny is Rick wasn't sure either, hence the pause.
Just sitting there going, okay, I got no response. I got no normal jingles that I get from my HUD whenever it's a specific item. What? He was sitting there taking damage. Did he forget? Interesting. Oh, catfish.
Oh, he's setting up a death warp. He doesn't have mirror, so once he grabs the big chest...
it's the Titan's mitts! Oh, that is huge. Oh.
So, wow,
and we know where the
immediately
flute is.
Gonna head over... Oh, but yeah, that's right. Rick's got the flute. But we don't know. I mean, I think I would take mirror over flute at this juncture, honestly.
To be fair, I would take both. However, I would also want the mirror first, but knowing that that is up there, and Rick has already went everywhere except for catfish at that point.
Yeah, and remember that Rick is sequence breaking. The logic does not force you to go through this dark room without a lantern. Maybe Arious doesn't feel like doing dark rooms, or maybe he wants to follow the breadcrumbs a little, and that's a valid strategy. That's the lady that tells on you. Is he gonna go visit the cross product?
Oh!
Oh, he's got the bottle too, so good call on him. Grabbing that bottle from Zora will yield him bombs.
Ooh, fireworks. Meanwhile, Rick picking up the rod of mixtapes. And in the big chest we have the burrito. Ooh, get Chipotle. And now the death warp comes into factor. I do not blame him.
He's definitely just going to finish out this dungeon. He'll have all the items, and he will have Crystal 5 or 6. One of the important ones. And actually, with his current item set, he can access Death Mountain and Tower of Hera. And since he's got Flute, the Dark Room is not like a sequence break because the Flute bypasses the Dark Room where the old man is.
That is true.
So that's going to be... The only thing he doesn't have is Gold Glove. When Arious will be able to clear out Death Mountain, Light World, and Dark World all in one go since he's got the Gold Glove. So we're going to have to see if Rick saves and quits. After this, he's going to go to Dark World without the Gold Glove. But...
Meanwhile, in Skull Woods, we ended up seeing the can of Brian come from Arious in the top left. And, oh, the second item has been found.
Yeah, I imagine he's piecing out at this point. This is a pendant dungeon, and he's found 2 out of 2 items.
That is nothing of worth at that point in the rest of that dungeon, unless we, for some reason, have a pedestal seed.
Rick having full health at one of the few times in the game where it's really important. It will save him 2 menus, since he can keep the hammer equipped. Once he goes downstairs, he can use a sword beam to activate the switch.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good point. That'll save you a little bit of time, a little bit of hassle, and, let's face it, both of those are super important when you're trying to make sure that every second counts. And now that he's heading into the L-cornered room, he's going to likely end up using the fire rod to find out where all those little turtles are.
Quick, what do you think C is for?
Cookie.
That
was a heart piece. C is for cardiac.
C is for quattro cardiac.
Oh, that's good enough for me. Meanwhile, Rick accidentally setting off Bombos instead of the hammer.
At some point he got fire rod?
Yes, he got that in the dark room in the bottom right chest.
Man, having hammer early is just nice because Thieves Town. I hate going into Thieves Town without the hammer. I've far too many times gone in here, left an item in the big chest, and always had that tickling the back of my mind for an hour.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen seeds end up getting ruined because they never went back to the Thieves Town big chest.
I've been ruined by going back and not getting anything of value.
Oh, no. Meanwhile, King Halmasaur getting quick work made of him. And this is where Rick decides... This is where Rick decides he's going to play the bunny tank. And now playing it safe with the arrows. Ooh.
Yeah, the one time you want to see a fireball pattern, like, so that he holds still. Oh man, that tail was close.
Wow.
Halmasaur King, use tail whip.
It's super terrifying when you have one heart.
Good thing he didn't use guillotine.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Well, you see, guillotine has... Oh. That's right. It's a figure of speech. I should have figured.
Oh! Well played.
Hey, Rick has Crystal 5. It's a sequence break, but he's got it. And as we said, he can access Tower of Hera. Well, Tower of Hera is in the logic for him to get Crystal 6. He saved and quit. He's not getting that gold glove. He's going straight to Death Mountain. This does mean we'll get a Lumberjack check, though, I think. Unless he activates the flute without checking it. Huh. But either way, I think he's probably most likely heading into Skullwood / Village of Outcasts / Steve's Town.
Oh, you know what he's probably doing? I just realized he's probably waiting to check Catfish for when he checks Zora.
Right.
That's not a bad... Oh, you're right.
It is a good way to consolidate steps. It's just that Catfish has Gold Glove and we're omniscient and we know that.
Exactly. And in the event that Mirror is somewhere that's locked by the Gold Glove, that's going to be a little problematic.
I am honestly...
Arious will decide to rise for the Swag Duck Anthem. And the goose has been released, or you could say the goose is loose.
The goose is loose. The duck is unlocked. I gotta say that with a Scottish accent. The duck is unlocked.
That's better. That's better. Wasn't exactly the strongest of accents, but I do at least appreciate the dialect.
Yeah, I gotta watch more DuckTales.
Ooh, same. Meanwhile, Rick going into yet another room.
I had another thing. Oh, you don't have the key. It's in vanilla. Whoops.
Ooh, about that feeling. But yep, now he's going to rescue the old man over in the dark cave. Seeing some decently quick work done of the dragon heads, getting the vanilla key, not dashing, getting bodied by the red blob.
What, you don't think Arious is handsome?
What?
Oh, you meant not dashing with the boots.
Yes. Yes.
You have boots?
Oh, that's a good point. I keep mixing up my seed, And I keep forgetting that both of our runners do not have the boots yet. The boots have yet to be found. For their case, I hope Desert Palace isn't bootlocked. In the meantime, we're going to be seeing AdirondackRick head up. Looks like he's going to be checking Paradox Cave, while Arious is going to be making quick work out of Blind. Both of these being pretty valid, because you can never take the true gamble that Sarashula won't have an item if nothing else seems to be prevalent. On the other hand, going in and getting 7 chests right off the bat from Dark World East Side, or sorry, Light World Death Mountain on the east side is pretty solid, because, well, I mean, sure, it's gambler's fallacy, but it is 7 chests.
One of the kind of funny things about watching a randomizer race is you don't see the time differences in real time. Like, say you were to watch a no major glitches, just a straight up vanilla run of Link to the Past, you would see who's ahead at any given point, and you would see this person gain time, and then this person regain that time because he did this section a little faster, and you can see immediately where the time differences are closing. With Link to the Past randomizer, you have to think a little outside the box here. When Arious eventually goes up into Death Mountain, he's going to have Gold Glove, and he's going to be able to clear out Light World and Dark World in one trip. So he's gaining the time of fluting up to Death Mountain, or walking through there with Glove. He's going to gain the time of going up to Death Mountain, hookshotting across the bridge, and doing all that jazz. So, like, you don't see the time differences close immediately. You have to, you have to see where it's coming in at different times.
That's a very insightful and valid point. However, just to make sure we are making absolute sure that we show that we're catching up, yes, AdirondackRick did end up getting the nice rod, the ice rod. If it were a little bit more, or if it were a little less bland, you could call it the spice rod. Meanwhile, Magic Cape was on Blind.
Well, I've always been attracted to it. That's why I call it the Entice Rod.
Ooh. Ooh. You know, it is an interesting device rod.
And if you want to make your opponent's head itchy, it becomes the Lice Rod.
Ooh, but at that point it's kind of a low brow when you're debating on men and mice rod.
But it's also expensive. That's why they call it the Price Rod.
Ooh, and that price is not right. Ooh, but the magic powder, though, that's a convenient find.
It slice rods. It dice rods.
And if you're an audio producer needing samples, it's splice rods.
So, Arious, I think, got bombs off that digging game, but it was only a couple digs. AdirondackRick going for the vanilla big chest strat?
Oh yeah, vanilla big chest strat.
Oh, it's a tempered sword!
Yes, tempered sword, let's go!
This is a very timely find for AdirondackRick, as it will make the Moldorm fight much easier. With the tempered sword, he'll be able to skip the enrage phase.
That is true.
Arious found Bloomerang off of old Stumpy. And I wonder what his next play is. Maybe going the pod, save and quit to Link's house. Might be taking this portal in the swamp. Or I could be completely wrong.
You could be. I'd also like to point out that AdirondackRick, as the bunny, did get the carrot sword. Remember, eat your vegetables, kids. And, just like that, Moldorm proves he is not a fan of carrots. Gets the small key.
Arious doing Ice Cave? Oh my gosh. Ice Rod. Ice Palace.
Whoa,
Arious
Ice Palace this
Ice
early.
Palace, guys. I got that right the first try. First try every time.
Ooh, that is... You know, it's funny that it's technically on the docket of something they can do, and I didn't even think of it.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of Ice Palace gambles pay off in V26. We'll see how this works out with the new version in the new bracket stage.
That is an interesting thing. early ice gamble. I never would have actually thought of that. That is an interesting gamble nonetheless. Oh, but what are those? We found the boots. We found Das Boot inside of Spectacle Rock.
Every German-speaking person is cringing right now.
Oh, of course. Of course. I don't say it because it's not. It's not. How do I word this? I don't say it because it's going to be clever or trendy. I say it because we all know it's bad, and we're gonna laugh at how bad it is.
Oh, we're gonna get that thingamabob check from Rick, the lumberjack. Let's see if there's a lumberjack stack. Nope, changed his mind. He's gonna do bonk rocks in the flank show area items. Although he can only check the west flank show area items since he doesn't have gold glove. That's the one huge advantage that Arious has right now. AdirondackRick has cleared out 3 dungeons. It scoured all the items out of 3 dungeons that Arious has not. Unfortunately, 2 of them were pendants. Or one of them. Unfortunately, he didn't find much in them.
Very true.
So he's got to go the long way to this portal.
Ooh, also, unfortunately, Arious has a 1 heart left with a bee in a bottle and can't pull off the bomb jump. Very unfortunate. Going to have to go around the long way, trying to make quick work of Cold Stare, but sadly... Wow, my train of thought literally went from on the track to completely invisible. Anyways.
AdirondackRick.
Being on track, you could say Rick is on track to finding the Cane of Brian. But unfortunately, there's not a whole lot else that you're going to find in Skull Woods. Keep wanting to call it Swamp Woods for some reason.
Swamp Woods?
I think it's all the green.
What's the difference between a swamp and a mire, by the way? Oh, Chad has an interesting point. The
amount of eyes on the boss?
But, I meant in the word and not the actual... Hey, AdirondackRick is in Skull Woods right now, and if he gets an item behind the monolith, that's going to be a continuation of his sequence break, grabbing Fire Rod out of a dark room. That was brought up by chat, by Lightyear. Thank you for pointing that out. Anything good in Ice Palace yet?
So far, haven't been seeing a whole lot, no.
You know what?
And now that we said that, hi, there's all of a sudden the Quake Medallion.
We have all 3 clues.
And of course, the last clue you find is in a place that's blue.
Well, I like Arious is in the room I like to call Pittsburgh. P-I-T-S-B-E-R-G. It's in
As
my
someone
list of Ice Palace room names that I made up.
You're not wrong. That's the best part about it.
Watch your health, Arious. He does have that B. I wonder if he'll make use of it.
That said, Pittsburgh is not that much of a pit. It's just a fun pun.
Who has Powder? Where was Powder? Was that also in Pod?
I believe Powder was in Pod, yes. If it wasn't in Pod,
Rick
it was...
Powder? I swear I saw someone grab Powder.
One of them has Powder, and I think it was Rick.
We'll see next pause. Yeah, Rick has Powder. And he's about to use it. Boop!
Very nice.
Cool, fun little fact there. If you have a bunny beam hiding underneath his skull there, you can actually powder it before even picking up the skull.
Ooh, Arious making the save quit out of Ice Palace?
Unfortunately, we don't get to see Naked Bunny on Rick's screen. Maybe we will over here.
And survey says...
Come on, Naked Bunny. Aw. Still closed.
Rip the deviant art dream. Anyway. We have a burrito in the, I believe that's actually the vanilla location. That's the compass location. And a Big 20 in the Big Key vanilla location.
Hey, he's not Terra from Final Fantasy VI, okay? We're getting a little too personal here. Let's get back to the race. Arious turning in that green pendant only for a piece of heart, and AdirondackRick will press forward to get this green pendant that I think Arious already grabbed. Arious cleared out Skullwoods and Thieves Town. Oh. I was a little mixed up earlier when I said Rick had cleared out more dungeons. So I apologize for that.
It's all good, it happens. We're seeing him not take too much of a beating in Heck Hallway. Oh, and uses the powder for the fairy, so it wasn't even a problem in the first place. Meanwhile, Arious is heading over to Desert, interestingly enough, going to be checking out Agana's cave.
You know, a big place that runners like to go as soon as possible is actually the Misery Mire area. And it's kind of funny that Arious has the gold glove required to get in. AdirondackRick has the flute required to get in. Which, by the way, also, the flute was in Palace of Darkness. However, it was on the east side that requires bow and not in a dark room. So, Rick does have a couple of items like Fire Rod and Powder that and the Crystal 5 that the logic required Lantern for. Flute is not one of those items.
Oh, hey, wait a minute.
So the progression, the next progression that the seed wants you to take could actually involve flute. So I would not be surprised to see a huge find in the Misery Mire area.
You know,
probably
you have
actually
a
lamp because that's the only thing missing right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now it's
or mirror
or mirror. Oh my goodness.
Oh, all right, I'm calling it right now.
No, Arious has mirror.
I don't believe you. Just kidding.
Well, I was gonna say we're looking at the same thing here.
I want to give a huge shout out to Linka for Link doing the. Make sure I get it, Sir Link a lot 777 for doing the tracking right now because obviously I can't pay enough attention to see which items the runners have, and he's doing an amazing job of keeping up.
It's okay. We had a throwback to Mikan's cave where the mirror was in Agana's cave.
Also, thank you so much for Clifford _ the Big Red Dog for doing the restreaming. And as always, the real stars of the show are the runners. Give a follow to Arious. Give me an old exclamation point R. Yeah, there they are. Follow these dudes. They're amazing. They're doing the real work tonight. They're putting themselves on the line and putting on a show for you guys, so give them a follow.
Absolutely, especially if you want to see some more good speed running or randomizer goodness from either of these runners.
Yeah, these guys are constantly doing practice runs, doing weekly races on Speedruns Live. Give them a follow if you want to see more action like this.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, hey, did you know that we're on 3 different channels at any given time? We're on the Link to the Past Randomizer channel. We also occasionally are on the Randomizer Mania channels, and we're occasionally on the Speed Gaming channels, depending on which tournament is going on. You should definitely be checking out all of them for all the good randomizer goodness you can find.
Dude, I love Randomizer. Just the whole concept of Randomizer is so cool. Like, if you ever check out the Speed Gaming schedule or the Randomizer Mania schedule, look at all the different games we have. I don't know, the people that know what they're doing have created. Link to the Past, Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link's Awakening, by the way, 48 minutes in, first time mentioning Link's Awakening, not a record, but Link's Awakening Randomizer is on the way, guys. I have word that it's being worked on. We've got Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 6, Earthbound Randomizer, there's so many randomizers everywhere, I love it. It's my absolute favorite games from my childhood. Being brought to life, being put back in the spotlight first of all, but also just making whole new games out of the content that I love.
To equate it to music, who doesn't like a really good remix?
I love remixes of Link to the Past too. Here's one.
Meanwhile, the bombable shed only had a heart container.
Timely big key for Arious, although he might check the west side before. He's just gonna prove me wrong. So I like to finish Swamp Palace if I haven't gotten map or compass yet, and just hope that map and compass are on the west wing. But you should not go to the west wing if you're living in the Beast Castle.
Not a bad call. I also will say, unfortunately, we went to Alec Baldwin's backyard and dug up 3 bombs.
I believe Arious already checked that. AdirondackRick is kind of taking a backwards route here. Gonna get old Stumpy here.
He probably did.
Bloomerang, if I recall.
Yes,
you
are correct.
Cave, so I think he's saving quit here. Yep.
Yep. Don't mind me. Goldfish memory. In the meantime, 50 rupees and the compass. We're now going to be seeing what... I almost called him Cold Stare. Oh my goodness. Argus is going to be hiding behind him. And those infinite puffballs.
So Rick is about to grab flippers here. This was the big item that Arious found in Zelda's vacation home.
Some decent swimming and water bug RNG for Arious. And in the meantime, we're seeing the Master Sword strats. Fun fact about the Master Sword, if you use it against Argus, you can normally get away with hitting each one 2 hits. However, if you are swiping upward, as in you are facing up on the top of facing the top of the screen, you have to make sure to move out of the way of the puffball, because otherwise you get hit for a tick of damage from your hitboxes colliding.
Yeah, that's a huge problem in low percent Oko, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. It's also a huge problem regardless with green mail.
For 1-hit KO, yeah.
Yep.
For those not in the NOCO, Oko stands for 1-hit KO.
If you don't know, now you know ko.
Moig Super Short Show?
Or the Aquabat Secret Super Show.
Brack presents the Brack Show starring Brack.
Oh,
Looks like Swamp Palace is ironically turning up dry.
Yeah, looks like it wasn't Shrek's swamp after all. Meanwhile, Rick doing the fake.
That one before.
Meanwhile, Rick is doing the fake flipper immediately over towards. Oh, he's going to make the overall check. He's going to make sure he's not missing anything on the Lake Island, which there isn't anything much. He's going to check Hobo, and he is going to hopefully go up to Zoro. Maybe he'll remember Catfish at that point, but in the meantime, we're going to see Rick go and make sure that the Hobo pays the troll toll to stay under that bridge. Arious, in the meantime, is going back to check the left side of the Swamp Palace to make sure that... Yup. To make sure...
I saw that one. I'm actually from Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
If anybody curious about that reference, just look it up. Don't ask us. We can't talk about it.
Yep, nope. Nope. Meanwhile, Arious making sure not to flood the key in Swamp Palace, a very, very valuable thing to have learned if you haven't done that already.
Yeah. And let's be honest, who of us hasn't?
Oh, trust me, you do it once, you never forget. Until you do it again, and then you actually never forget.
I already called Lampenmeyer area. It could actually be in Meyer. Just not from Vitreous.
Technically, at this point, both Cane of Samaria and the lamp could be the 2 items that you find inside of Misery Mire. That or one of them could be in Checkerboard Cave.
Right, because Arious does have the mirror, like
yep.
I didn't notice before. Also, Book will not be required to get into Desert Palace since they have Flute Gold Glove Mirror. It's an alternate way to get into Desert.
And Blessed be.
Glory be.
Glory be as well.
And, oh, I'm not gonna start singing hymns.
That'd probably not be the best of the spirit of the randomizer, but I understand.
Anyway.
Meanwhile, we ended up having some rupees and yet another rupee, and Arious says, I'm done with this swamp.
Swamp Palace. It's more like Womp Womp Palace, am I right?
Oh, you are right. Meanwhile,
that
Rick
kid
going
just
and
sneezed
stealing...
up 3 bombs. He must really be sick.
That kid just gave up his fireworks. Oh! Rick going for the B strats. Wow.
And it was a gold.
That's literally the first time I saw anyone actually use the golden B strat.
Oh, that's a sword upgrade.
Ooh, yeah, it
Arious
is.
found that Rick did not. So if Rick checks that cave south of the grove here, or if Arious gets that big chest in Hera, which I'm sure he will pretty soon now, head up to Hera, that's going to be a butter sword.
Oh, yeah, it is. Maybe they'll find 2 mail upgrades so we can have the red lobster combo, where we end up getting red mail and a butter sword.
And they've got the red shield already.
Oh, that's true. That would be true Paladin status. Meanwhile, Arious is going and saving Senior Frog and making sure to dance with him in the pale moonlight with the hammer. Oh, he doesn't have the boots. It's going to be a slow dance. Oh, he decides to forego it and just bring back the breadsmith.
I think he checked that already.
Oh,
I definitely remember somebody checking hammer pegs, and it definitely wasn't Rick because he still doesn't have gold glove. He's got to go to that catfish soon,
Yep,
hopefully for him.
You are correct.
He might be working his way over there after Swamp.
Ooh. Not only do we get the Sealing Master, we also get 3 bombs from the breadsmiths. However, we did steal their lunchbox in the Dark World.
I guess they wanted to spice that bread up, huh?
To be fair, can't complain about a little bit of kick.
Did Rick? Oh, Rick's gonna do north and then mirror influence. I was curious because he already checked the southern Dark World, so I was like, where's he going right now? But
I'm actually more curious as to why he's going up to Mothula, because the 2 items that were already in Swamp Palace have been found, unless he is dead set on believing that this is a pedestal seed.
That's gotta be it.
He already has the other 2. Oh, he already ended up having to get the other 2 pendants anyways. We're gonna see a blind pull, aren't we?
Here. Yeah, he does have the other 2 pendants. Unfortunately, no mirror.
Ooh.
Oh, Naked Bunny.
Naked Bunny.
Twitch.tv/deviantart.org/follow. Yeah, I steal all my jokes from Game Grump, sorry.
No, it's all good. Ampersand terms of service.
Hashtag copyright trademark.
Meanwhile, a big 20
with a circle around it.
A big 20 up in the cave behind the grave. And we have a Mothula fight, and I hope you all get your pedestal hype going soon, because it's most likely going to be a blind pull. Are you ready for the meme?
Yeah, it's going to require a saving point first.
Ooh, it's going to require a little more than that, because someone just ended up getting a game over.
Yeah, Mothula, not the friendliest of foes.
No,
so
certainly
Arious,
not.
Remember, doesn't have the flute. He had to do a little save and quit action there, but we're going to see what Gary's got for lunch today. Also, without the boots, he was not able to check King's Tomb yet. However, with the gold glove, once he finds boots, it'll be an easy check.
Oh, I hope you like fetch quests.
So it looks like Gary already ate his lunch and just has the spoon left over.
You know, it's funny, considering he had a shovel, at this point you have to wonder...
Oh, no magic for Rick. This actually just happened to me. I was either doing Key Sanity or Wizrobe Plando the other day.
You hate to see that. And by you hate to see that, I mean...
Oh,
wow!
Wow!
Gotta love the luck on that.
Yeah, that was a clutch, huge magic drop for Rick there. He's still gonna conserve his magic. He wants as many fire rod shots as he can muster for that guy, Mothula. He's gonna powder for a fairy.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Bob the Builder. Can we? Oh, I missed it.
What did Arious dig up?
I did not see it, unfortunately.
Well then, it's a very good thing our tracker, Sir Linkalot, is watching. He would have marked it if it were any major items.
It was a big 20? I see. Thank you. Shoutouts to the chat. Shoutouts to our Twitch audience and our YouTube audience while I'm at it. You both should get together. We do, because a lot of these get brought up to YouTube. So shoutouts to our YouTube audience.
Not a live YouTube audience, but if you're watching this in the future, hi.
Hey, how's it going? You should join us over on Twitch sometime, and we'll join you over on YouTube. Meanwhile, down goes Mothula, and I hope you're ready. Are you ready for the meme? He is spamming
select. He wants that saving code. He's going straight to pedestal. I can't wait to see this.
Are you ready for the meme? I'm ready for the meme.
I want it to be book. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my goodness, I hope so. I want to.
We haven't had a lumberjack check yet either, because when AdirondackRick had the opportunity to go over there, he went straight. He went straight to the flute spot. There's no lamp yet.
What if Lumberjack Cave has something required? Neither runner has checked Lumberjack.
Yo, if you were playing Key Sanity and you saw a big key in the Lumberjack item, wouldn't your heart just sink?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, it could be an important one, or it could be Skullwoods.
Oh, here we go. Get that pedestal hype going. You know what time it is. It's that magical time of the year. Everyone's starting to feel the breath on their face, and the pedestals are being checked blind. Survey says... Oh, wait, that's right. There's a cutscene.
Book.
Cane of Samaria. Going to call it now. It is actually the Cane of Samaria!
Sorry, headphone.
It is actually the Cane of Samaria. Oh my god. I am sorry. I am a witch. I live close to Salem. I'll just go drive there now. I'll see you all later.
You know Book is in Turtle Rock now, obviously. Holy crap. But you still also have that gold glove! When is he gonna check Catfish? I think he will soon, because he's gonna get this mirror off of this dude. Off of the narcissistic old dude. And we've said many hours ago that mirror was going to be the key to him comboing Catfish with Zora. So I think he's going to be grabbing that gold glove very shortly once he grabs his mirror.
Okay, I'm back. Had to walk away for a quick second there.
So Arious can actually do mirror and go the intended way in the Tower of Hera here, where he will find, I think something important was in there, but I can't for the life of me remember.
Inside of Spectacle Rock, it had the boots.
Did Hera have anything, or am I just thinking that it was the Crystal 6? Oh, speaking of which, AdirondackRick is all set to check Fat Fairy here as well.
I'm pretty sure it was only Crystal 6 at this point.
But
we're gonna make a Spike Cave check.
So Rick's still not getting that gold glove. Oh, I think... I didn't see why
this is the weirdest turn of events. Rick has literally said, you know what, I have a pedestal seed coming, and he gets the Cane of Samaria, but he doesn't have the gloves to use them anywhere. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, we have the gloves, but no idea that the pedestal is required.
I actually called Book it pedestal. It was my friend Glentai who called Red Cane. Ah, man. So, I mean, that is a huge play for Rick, but Arious has 2 pendants right now as well. The only thing is he's gone into Skullwoods and gotten the 2 items, so it might not be on his mind to go there anytime soon.
Sorry, don't mind me being quiet for that quick second. I'm still kind of blown away that I accidentally blind guessed that. Whew. Anyway.
There's a new emote for that. There.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that is the perfect emote. That is the perfect emote for what just happened. For anyone wondering what that is, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a new emote we have that's literally labeled Speedcom Curse, as in commentator's curse. Whew. That is super accurate. Meanwhile, we're getting Spiral Cave done with the boots. The preferred way to do it, because walking through here isn't just a stroll, it's kind of akin to watching the band play on the Titanic as it's going down. Oh, but only for a big 20.
No, don't save and quit. He didn't do the Dark World side.
Well, he did not say hello, darkness. He did not say hello, darkness, his old friend. Oh, I think he just realized.
Yeah.
Oh no, Sanctuary instead. Interesting.
Oh, so Bootsy's gonna check the King's Tomb.
Oh, right. That's a good call.
Did he not check Hookshot Cave and all that? That's a shame. Because
I don't believe so.
We discussed a while back that Arious was gonna have Gold Glove going into Death Mountain, and that would be a huge time advantage being able to do that in one go.
Absolutely, and technically by the logic, right now, Lamp could be in Hookshot Cave. Because technically you do not need Hookshot Cave, or the lamp, to get to Hookshot Cave, or anything that was required for it.
He also didn't do Hera.
Ooh, interesting. By the way, speaking of doing Hera, did Rick ever go to the pyramid yet?
Yeah, Ether was there, if I recall.
No, but I mean, did he ever go and blow up the wall to find the thickest of theories?
I don't believe so. I think that's going to be right after Swamp, honestly.
Gotcha. Because she may be the thickest of theories, but may we all hope for the extra thickest of items. Oh, it's a red bottle of Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid up in the Lumberjack Cave.
So Lamp can, in fact, be in Turtle Rock.
In all technicality.
Yeah, it obviously can't be behind the Dark Room in Turtle Rock, but if you're also thinking that, hey, it requires a Dark Room to get up to Death Mountain, that's actually not true, because AdirondackRick found the flute on the eastern side of Palace of Darkness, which does not go through a Dark Room.
You are correct, and anything that he has also found that would give him Dark World access to the eastern side of Death Mountain was not found either after or in a Dark Room. So in all technicality, while unlikely, it is still possible Lamp is in Turtle Rock.
Are you kidding me? This is V27. Lamp's guaranteed to be in Turtle Rock.
No, if it were truly that evil, it would be in Mimic Cave.
I mean, if this seed were evil, it would put something like Red Cane on pedestal and book in Turtle Rock.
You know what? You're not wrong.
I'm halfway right at least.
Oh, there's the lamp. Super Bunny Cave it is.
So Lamp did not require an initial visit to Eastern Palace, as I was having. No, it did. By logic, it did. Because by logic, Death Mountain is inaccessible without either Lamp or Flute. So the logic did want them to go to Pod to get the Flute, to come up here to get Lamp. But anyway, who cares, because Old Man Cave is the easiest dark room in the game. But actually, you know what? if Arious is doing his math here, and you know this stage of the tournament, when Swiss stages are over, we've gone to the brackets. A lot of these players have randomizer experience. Arious is going to see that lamp and think, okay, flute has to be in a pre-lamp location. If he's doing his math. And you know how I love doing math.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with some math.
You know, can't get in the cannon's tower yet. Did we see... I know none of the players has been the Mire area yet, so we have not seen the remirement, but have we seen the T-Rock lock? Did Arious check that out while he was up here? If he did, I missed it.
I don't believe he did.
I've forgotten to check it too, and boy did it bite me in the bum.
That is very rough. That is indeed very rough to handle when you end up needing to find every item possible.
We're told Quack. He did check it, it's Quack, okay.
Oh, okay.
So Rick is gonna have to find that. That was in Ice Palace, if I recall.
Yes.
So still, it's kind of funny, these runners really have had complimentary items this whole run.
Yeah.
Arious has Gold Glove, Rick has Flute, so neither can get to Mire area. Rick has Red Cane, Arious has Quake, so neither can get to Turtle Rock.
This is literally the odd couple of runners.
Oh, Butter Sword for Arious. We did mention he would be picking that up.
And now we have the buttered up asparagus combo.
You know, what's funny is Arious did not actually need to check the T-Rock requirement. Shoutouts to Zelda and
for pointing that one out.
yeah.
And just like that, the hamburger snake goes down.
Alright, so we don't have... It looks like Rick's turning that green pendant, which I think was a heart piece?
Yep.
Or 3 bombs or something. It was unimportant. So we got a little bit of a lull, not seeing any new content, so I will remind everybody once again to follow our runners, Arious13 and AdirondackRick. These guys are putting on a great show for you, and they deserve your love.
Absolutely. Gotta give a lot of credit to... Oh, sorry, don't mean to cut you off, by all means.
I'll let you shout out the other guys that are doing all the work.
By all means. Speaking of people busting their butts to make sure you are having an entertaining time, aside from watching both of these runners for more excellent speedrunning and randomizer goodness, make sure you go and give some love to both. Wow, of course, that's when my names start to fade. Yes, Clifford
That's why
for the restream. Yep, that's a good call. Gotta make sure to give... Oh, yep. Make sure to give some love to Clifford, also known as Clifford_TRB. Or
Rick's gonna check
TRBD.
Spike Cave too, and he just got an awesome fairy drop just in time for it. That was great.
Nice.
But
And
he's got
of course,
Hookshot and Blue Cane.
make sure to give some love as well, as before I forget, to Sir Linkalot as well. Oh,
Sir Linkalot, yeah, sorry.
as I mean, us too, but like, of course, gotta give credit to the people that do the more thankless job of all of our restreams.
Yeah, the restreams and the trackers, give those guys. Are they in the command?
I believe so. Should be exclamation points C?
Yeah,
Yes.
Sir Linkalot. Awesome guy.
And as people are asking in chat, yes, we had a blind pull pedestal, and it turned out to be a required item. This is going to be an interesting ride.
Oh, cool! We do have Clifford, the big red dog, as a restreamer link in the exclamation point C command. That's good. He's probably doing the hardest, most thankless job out of all of us.
Oh, easily. For those playing the home game, the Catfish had the last glove upgrade. And speaking of Catfish, looks like AdirondackRick is finally heading up there, getting a hankering for some seafood. With the amount of times Catfish catfishes people, I wouldn't be surprised if this were an option to have been neglected. But, as we found out earlier, it was a very good play to make sure you ended up going there first to ensure that it was not going to hold an item. And of course, just like with anyone's luck, the one place you don't check is always going to be that one place that has something you need. In the meantime, we have Arious heading over to the rest of the Mullet Mansion, ending up going and bombing open the wall, heading over, going to the left side to open up the floor to, as some of my friends would say in their concerts, open up this pit, and drop right down, use the key to grab another key, to fall back down, to grab another key, to head to the rest of the dungeon. Rick must be feeling a little silly at this point, just grabbing the gloves. However, on the bright side for them, they at least have the knowledge now.
Yeah, and Rick finding the gloves late is a little less significant, I think, than Arious finding the boots late and the flute late. I mean, Arious is about to grab the flute. And movement items, the sooner you grab them, the more time you're saving. So
right,
that's just going to be gradual time, you know, since the point where Rick picked up boots first and he picked up flute first. That's just, you know, over time, that's going to add up to the difference between the two of them.
It's going to be very interesting to see where these runners diverge.
So Misery Mine
or not
also
diverge, but come back together. So we have a double Quake run. Well, it's safe to say at that point that, looks like that 44% chance was actually wrong. Because the first one they found was, Ether, if I'm correct.
Yeah, although that 44% chance was wrong as soon as we found out Quake was for Turtle Rock.
You know, that's a good point. That is a very good point.
So Rick's gonna do...
Ooh, bomb upgrade. So that means that we are not boot locked out of an area that we already had everything for, but nonetheless out of Eastern or Desert Palace. Double checking everything, and it seems at this point Arious is going to be picking up, I believe that's the 2 dungeon items? Yep, that is the big key, and I believe the compass right over here. No, it was a bomb upgrade. Oh.
You know, I think...
I also think.
Are you this too?
Why, just maybe.
You know, I was thinking maybe AdirondackRick paused to check and see if he had the big key, but at the same time he would, since he had checked all the other chests leading up to this point, plus the bow side, he would have had to have big key before getting the big chest anyway. So since these runners skipped talking to the Pun Master in Kakariko Village, I'm going to read you one off of the new version 27 list here.
Yes! Opening up the big chest for the burrito, and then Mira's immediately back.
This is a good one.
Oh, okay, I'm down. Let me have it.
My girlfriend burrowed under the sand, so I decided to leave her.
Oh. Oh no. Also, yes, but oh no.
Quake once again was in Ice Palace, which I don't think Arious even completed. He just... Oh, it's a pendant. Oh, no, it's not. That's Skullwoods. No. So anyway, Arious got Quake out of Ice Palace. But man, that red Kena pedestal is going to be the huge difference.
Yeah, it is. That was some accidental witchcraftery.
Oh, so remember AdirondackRick did pod earlier, and he had full health going into this basement room. You'll see when Arious does it, he's going to have to menu to a ranged item to hit that crystal switch, whereas AdirondackRick, and then menu back to hammer, AdirondackRick saved those 2 menus by having full health and using sword beams.
Ooh. Oh wait, no, we already had a checkerboard cave check. I keep forgetting that. If I'm correct. Oh wait, no.
Arious only just got flute.
That was a stream that I watched right before this one. Never mind. Oh,
Yeah,
it was a 30. It was a 30 rupee difference. Okay, never mind.
Never run randos back to back. Never watch randos. Significant items anyway, I believe, other than like silver arrows, maybe a mail upgrade. As far as progression goes, everything's been found.
Yeah, you can literally consider Rick at this point in go mode.
Oh, it was Bombos from Meyer.
Oh.
All that. But he does still need Quake to get into Turtle Rock, but surely he will check Ice Palace before checking the myriad overworld locations he still has open. Yeah, what do I know? He can do whatever he wants.
I mean, fortunately, that is the nature of Randomizer.
This is, this room AdirondackRick is in. This is one of the toughest rooms to execute perfectly, but man, when you see that one cycle, that is a thing of beauty. And he was about
the one cycle.
there.
The one cycle is a gorgeous sight. I agree.
He was about halfway there, unfortunately took a hit from the Wizrobe, which made him lose his sword beams.
Ah, unfortunate.
Where you going, Arious?
And where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? In the meantime, it looks like Rick is going to the bridge chest. Are we going to be seeing the easiest mire known to humankind? Are we going to be seeing the one and the only big chest? Nope. Or big key.
He's gonna look for Quake anyway. And if
that's right.
That's the best. If you can hover and you get the big chest there, you just go straight to the end. That's so good.
I actually just realized he didn't have Quake. He's not in go mode yet. Because Quake was required for Turtle Rock, wasn't it?
Yes. Arious, funnily enough, checking it despite having all medallions. All 3 clues.
Which, as we know, one of them was in Turtle Rock.
Arious unlocking the duck at the 1 hour 21 minute mark probably doesn't feel too good about finding the movement items as late as he did. Especially when he also realizes it was available for so long. Although, you know, he might have actually kind of figured it was there because of the flute? Or because of the lantern being in Death Mountain? I don't know.
Honestly,
Good one.
Oh, that's a plot twist. If Rick never goes back to check the magic bat, we might be seeing an interesting way for both of these runners to have their, whichever's significant lead shorten.
Yeah, the silver arrows that Arious just picked up, that's going to cut a lot of time down on the final boss fight against Ganon. I can't imagine Rick will have any troubles with the silverless strategy. It's just more time-consuming.
Yep. And it's that level of time-consuming that can, depending on the situation, make all of the difference. They are not that close when it comes to the difference in the amount of time required, but Arious has otherwise pretty much cleared the rest of Ice Palace.
Right, he'll be able to go mode it. Arious is the kind of the story of this race right now is Arious going into dungeons and not completing them. He went into Ice Palace, got the Quake that he needed, which was good, didn't finish the boss. He went into Swamp, got the 2 items, which was good, but didn't get that pendant, which he, as yet, does not know is required. Although Rick, in probably the trickiest set of dark rooms in the game, Arious will have Lamp when he decides to go over to Misery Mire.
Yeah, out of all the dark rooms, I have to agree with you. That is my least favorite of the dark rooms.
I honestly don't think Rick will even pick up Lantern on his way to Turtle Rock, because he's going to see himself in go mode before he even flies up to Death Mountain, probably. If he does Ice Palace next, we don't know what he's thinking.
I'm thinking for the sake of routing when he's heading to GT, he'll probably end up saving Turtle Rock for last, because Turtle Rock Go Mode is familiarly similar to Turtle Rock Normal.
Right, but since the Lantern was in Death Mountain Overworld, it's a matter of whether he wants to... Because a lot of Overworld items, there's 4 in Hookshot Cave, and then there's 2 in the what we call the Super Bunny chest, since you can access them with a minor glitch without Moon Pearl. So there's 6 Overworld items up there. It's possible that I'll check them first, but the way he's been doing this seed, he's probably going to do Ice Palace first, which means he'll be in go mode and not even think twice about getting that lamp, or silver arrows for that matter.
Yep, which at this point, realistically at this point, one thing I'm actually very curious about is at what point will Arious go into Swamp Palace? I mean, sorry, no, Skull Woods. That's Skull Woods.
And that's a huge... Oh, he didn't get to me. Oh my gosh, there's that akin to flooding the key in Swamp Palace.
He didn't get the
end of
key.
Desert Palace without the big key.
Yeah. Yep.
How many times have I done that?
More than anyone ever wants to admit.
So yeah, again, Arious already got the 2 items out of Skullwoods. I don't think that he's going to do a blind pull. He's going to at least try to find Book to see what's there. And we all know that this is going to be a trolley seed and put Book behind the Cane of Samaria right there in Turtle Rock. And hey, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's really anywhere left for it to be but Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock or GT at this point?
Yeah, GT. Which, of course, GT is also locked behind Cane of Samaria.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Rick making super quick work of Vitreous using the Buttersword Cane strats. Or sorry, Buttersword Cape strats, because I can speak.
Yeah, Buttersword Cape boots, just...
Yup. Give him the old razzle dazzle, and suddenly he's just ready to fight, and then you go and give him a
I'll think of a good name for that strat, just give me a minute.
No worries. I'm just coming up with a bunch of really silly terms in the meantime. And yep, he's going right into Ice Palace. Soon as he picks up Quake, that makes Rick officially in go mode.
Yeah, Rick prioritizing the handful of dungeon items, 3 dungeon items here, over the 6 overworld items he has available in Death Mountain. This is going to pay off for him. It's kind of, this honestly, I'd hate to say it, spells Arious' doom, but that's good news for us, because that's going to mean a game 3 in this match. Yeah,
that's actually... In a way, that's great news for us in an entertainment standpoint. However, that does also mean it's unfortunately for Arious, Rick's game to lose. It really did come down to that blind pedestal pull.
Oh yeah.
That was a high risk, high reward strategy, and did it pay off?
High risks, high reward.
Why?
High roll ward.
Oh, it's been a while since I've had this level of puns to work with.
Nice land mola fight for Arious.
Yup, absolutely.
Gets his burrito sandwich.
Ooh. See, I just like to say it's Desert Palace, so I like to call it shawarma. Or a gyro.
I'm not too good at geology, sorry.
Nah, you're good. You're good. I have to admit though, that last big pun really did pack quite a punch. Meanwhile, after a little bit of adjustment, Rick ends up taking care of the bomb jump with no problems, and Arious is opening Misery Mire.
I don't remember exactly where Quake was. It was in here somewhere. Oh, the team kill.
Yeah, that whole knocking down all the pegs is always a fascinating thing to watch.
You mean all the pengs?
Oh, of course. I almost said all the pins, but then I was gonna call them pings, and I was like, we're not talking about networking here, we're talking about randomizer. Meanwhile, sending the mixtape to the Blue Man Group, getting the big key, and down to the big chest Rick goes. And his reward is the compass.
Chumpus. Is it in the
Oh,
ice?
the compass is right. Ouch.
So you can go through this locked door and the big key locked door backwards without using your keys.
Absolutely, and it's a very,
Is he
very
gonna
valuable strategy.
Is he gonna do Cold Stare and not pick up Quake?
Oh no!
Is he gonna come back in after Cold Stare?
Oh no! Something you said is finally coming up. He never checked Turtle Rock. He doesn't know that he needs one more item. He assumes he's in go mode.
That's, you know what? That's probably exactly it. He says, I got a 2/3 chance of having the right pendant, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I like those odds.
And to be fair, those odds aren't bad. They're certainly not bad.
Yeah, plus the 6 overworld items right nearby. He's like, well, if I don't have it, it's gotta be one of those, right?
But he's about to get bamboozled. He is so about to get bamboozled.
Unless, of course, he comes straight back into Ice Palace. We don't know. But
Right, that would be the best case scenario.
We'll see if he equips Mirror or goes straight back in.
Come on. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
So this is gonna be. I mean, Arious is gonna have to be a whirling dervish finishing up all these dungeons, and still has to go back into Skullwoods and get that last pendant. He will have the advantage of having Mirror to go straight to Pedestal after that, but I mean, who wants to check that?
So here's what's going down, right? We are still, after all of this, after all of the potential lead, after all the revelations, literally still 2 runners having what the other needs.
Here's the question, though. When Arious finishes Misery Mire, what will he have to check besides Pedestal? Will there even be another item? I mean, he had Mirror for a while and checked all those South Dark World locations. He's gotten the items, I think all of the items out of Ice Palace. And he can't get into Turtle Rock whatsoever without the Red Cane. He's probably... He can't even finish Mire, though. That's his big problem. Okay, well...
Swamp Palace. I keep mixing them up for no reason, but he's got Swamp Palace, or sorry, Skull Woods left. My goodness.
Oh, that mushroom's not gonna be his friend.
Oh no. Oh no, the ultimate fetch quest of Ultimate Destiny.
So, he won't be able to finish Mire, so he's gonna have to do an Ice Palace revisit, a Skullwoods revisit, and a Mire revisit. All dungeons that AdirondackRick... No, I'm sorry, 2 out of 3 that Rick cleared in one go. Rick doesn't know yet, but he has to revisit Ice Palace. And you know what? I think Rick still has a lot of Mirror overworld locations to check that Arious has already cleared out.
Yes, he does.
So this is...
Oh, it looks like Rick's finally getting the lamp.
Yeah. So if Arious flutes to 4, or whatever, 3? Whatever one village is, 3. He's going to turn in the mushroom first. It won't be too bad since he's got flute. But if he flutes to 3 and goes to the village after this, we'll know he's on the right track.
At this point, Rick still has the frog, the lunchbox, Hammerpeg Cave, the mushroom, the shovel spot, I'm pretty sure he went to. Yeah, he did. He did go to sick kid.
He didn't get the mushroom, right? So he's still
Right.
and he's gonna go to Mire and get the items out of Mire and get the mushroom. Alright, well Arious is gonna finish Ice Palace. Maybe he didn't get all the items. Or maybe he just wants something to do so he can take
He's probably just going, I need some sort of progression. Please let me just get this one crystal and figure out what to do in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. Just buying himself some time to think. So Rick, thinking I might have to revisit one of these dungeons, picks wrong. AdirondackRick.
Ooh. Not a bad pun. Not a bad pun.
Actually, it is. I don't like making puns on people. I do it all the time, but I don't like the idea of making puns on people's names, just because it's hard to be original with them.
You know, that's a good point.
And also, you know, it gets a little personal sometimes too.
You know, that's a good point. That sometimes it comes off a little more personal than it's intended, or other times it seems intended when you're just trying to play it off.
I apologize to Rick watching this VOD, if he so chooses to.
Let's see. Now, let's see, there's a double Stalfos kill.
You know, I think the lesson of this seed was full clear your dungeons, because that's what put Arious so far behind, and that's why AdirondackRick is not right in go mode right now.
Yep, you are right. Rick unfortunately ended up pushing one rock and not getting the fire rod shot off in time.
And he opened up the skull so he can't hookshot it.
Oh no, Arious! That's you gotta hate when that happens.
Yeah, it looks like the nerves are starting to show for both runners here. Remember, with Randomizer, you're not allowed to watch the recast. You're not allowed to look at chat. You have no idea where your opponent is.
Yeah, you are going.
Yeah, the only thing you have to go on is how much time you think you've wasted.
Yep.
And both of these runners are feeling that right now. Both of them one item out of go mode. If I'm working right.
Go figure. Once again, both of them one item out of go mode. Both of them looking for the one thing the other has.
Where are we going, Rick? No, it's obviously mushroom stuff. You know, Arious debated me too, and he brought that flute out and went straight to turn into mushroom.
Yeah.
Should have known.
It's a delightful but a painful debated.
Go figure, I hardly know her.
300 rupees. That's some high quality truffle.
Alright, we're gonna see where's Rick going. He's doing some overworld shenanigans. That's gonna be Arious' cue to go over to Skull Woods now. Maybe that time doing Ice Palace, he had time to cool off and think about what his next move is, and maybe Pedestal's on his mind.
You know, at this point, there's really not much for Arious left to do other than go into Skull Woods.
It's funny because you had it right the first time that time. He's doing Fat Fairy though.
Oh, you know what? That's a fair point. Neither runner has checked the thickest of fairies to see whether or not they are going to be getting the extra thick item of destiny. As we know, that's not going to be the case. But what if that's where the book is? What if?
The Stout Sylph, Portly Pixie, Fat Fairy.
Stout Sylph. I like that one. Meanwhile, using some pretty solid... Oh, for a second, I thought they were doing a combo. I thought that was going to be a hookshot pull into a hammer dash. I was going to say, does that actually work? But I don't know if it does. Because if that did, that would be amazing.
Finally, we're getting a lumberjack check.
Oh my goodness.
AdirondackRick is like, it would be just like the seed to require pedestal
1 hour.
and Aghanim 1.
Oh, to be fair, Arius did go to a lumberjack check about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, potion.
Yep.
That's a funny thing to see if we didn't already have that bottle of Sora.
Oh, I know, right?
That's Plando level shenanigans right there. Is that an 8? Was that a flute to 8? It was not.
It was a flute to 3.
So he's gonna check a couple more mirror spots. Meanwhile...
Oh, but this might actually... He might be going to Magic Bat,
All right,
which wouldn't
Arius.
get him the silver arrows.
Arius flutes to 3. He's walking up to that portal to head to Skull Woods. This is exciting, folks.
Oh, here we go.
Unfortunately, he still has to revisit Meyer, so it's like... So Arius is on basically on a beeline right now. Once he does Skull Woods, he's going to be in go mode. So it's like, AdirondackRick, when's he going to decide to go back to that Ice Palace?
He's gonna check everything else first. We are both getting accidental 100% seeds. Yep, and now we are seeing Senior Frog being danced with in the pale moonlight. A check into the Hammerpeg Cave. The return of the Breadsmith. All for a couple of bombs.
And what if Rick miscounted his chests in Ice Palace?
Oh no. I hope that's not the case.
Chat pointing out that possibility. So, this is going to be another situation where, with Arius coming up on the pedestal, we're going to see another situation where he's going to gain time, but we don't see that time gain until 40 minutes later. Remember, AdirondackRick did not have the mirror at this point doing Skull Woods, and he had to save and quit to go back to pedestal, so that's going to be some time Arius saves on him.
Ooh, that's true too. And Rick does not seem like he is heading over to the Magic Bat. Ooh.
No, he is.
Oh, I have been proven a liar because he went to go there first and decided why use an extra menu when I could just do it all in one go. That's logical. That makes sense. There's a reason he's higher up in this tournament than I am. And... okay. Got through the room safe. And after speaking with the Batman, gets the silver arrows.
He's like, not what I was looking for, but useful.
Right? Not what I'm looking for, but at the same time, you know, not bad.
Maybe I should have been looking for this.
Oh, okay. He's heading over to 7. He's going to be...
He's going to get Gary's spoon, which is going to be another unfortunate fetch quest.
Oh. All fetch quests are unfortunate, but sometimes they are still nonetheless entertaining. Yep, here we go.
Shoutouts to Rando Team. Arius has the Butter Sword on Mothula, which at one time could not actually hurt Mothula.
Yep, and in fact, I think even in the vanilla games, can't hurt Mothula, period.
Right, because Mothula is immune to spikes, and Butter Sword does the same amount of damage as spikes, the randomizer devs kind of had to hard code a different damage value in for Butter Sword, so it actually does tempered sword damage against Mothula. Where are you going, Rick?
He is going somewhere in the Dark World.
Oh, he's doing Fat Fairy now.
Oh, okay.
And Arius is about to get his blindfold red cane.
Oh. It's like I can hear the spirit of JR through the video game console.
Yeah, so Arius is now in go mode. He still has to clear out Misery Mire. So the question is, will he finish Misery Mire by the time Rick finds Quake? That's going to be the point of convergence for these two runners. He's going to do Turtle Rock first?
Oh, that's very interesting.
Does he realize he didn't? Oh man, this is... Well, the point of convergence is going to be Ganon's Tower at this point.
Yeah, it really is. It's really weird how this all turned around on each other at the last second. One seemed ahead of the other,
So, oh boy. Arious, is he gonna walk up to Ganon's Tower and try to open it with 6 crystals?
Oh, I hope that's not the case. I'm gonna feel so bad. Of course, I will still giggle at it, but it's not going to be anything more than an empathetic, I know that feel giggle.
Oh boy.
Oh! Rick is back in the water, though. And he goes back into Ice Palace.
This is like... If Arious had gone to Mire, we would have seen whether he finished Mire before Rick grabbed Quake or not, but now we're just not going to know what the time difference is until Ganon's Tower.
You know...
But this is going to be an unfortunate error for Arious, I'm going to have to say.
It's one of those things. Unfortunately, that was bound to happen regardless of the situation.
Yeah, man, just all this pressure with the tournament, it really gets to you, and these guys are really putting themselves on a line, which is why you should go give them a follow.
But by all means, if you have been enjoying a lot of these races and this particular race, don't forget that these runners and everyone behind the scenes have been busting their butts to make sure you are as entertained as possible. So for more excellent speedrunning and randomizer goodness, feel free to go check out our runners, follow these channels, follow our channels, the speedrunner channels, or the speed gaming channels rather. Feel free to follow Randomizer Mania, feel free to follow A Link to the Past Randomizer on Twitch. By all means, make sure you also give some love to our tracker Sir Link-A-Lot and our restreamer Clifford, also known as Clifford_TBRD, as in Clifford the Big Red Dog. So at this point, I do believe this is a one-time into Turtle Rock for both of these runners. Both of them had to double dip into ice. Or didn't have to, but did. And we are in the worst cameo room of the game. Over with Arious. Those chain chomps are not a fun time.
You don't like this Link's Awakening reference?
You can call it a Link's Awakening reference. I'm going to call it a Mario reference.
You don't like a reference to a game that came out after this one? And that's go mode for Rick. So, Arious basically lost the time it takes from the #1 flute location walking up to Turtle Rock. He's going to have to make that trek again after doing Misery Mire, plus walking from T-Rock to Ganon's Tower if he doesn't realize in time that he's missing a crystal. We'll see if that's enough for Rick to catch up.
I mean, for Rick to catch up? Are you sure, though? Because Arious is down 1 dungeon.
Right. We'll see. It's kind of weird because that decision set him back a lot of time immediately, but we're not going to see if that was enough time for Rick to make up the deficit, is what I'm saying. We won't know yet.
Sorry.
Yeah. Basically, we don't know who's in the lead.
Yep.
It's
My
really
attention
close.
span went from focus to out the window within a millisecond when you were talking. That was my bad. Meanwhile,
That's
no check in for Mimic Cave. Why would they at this point? But I can almost guarantee you that's at least where one of the males are. Unless they're on Laser Bridge.
oh, nice bonk dodge.
Absolutely. Very solid bonk dodge indeed.
Looks like we've got a key on the laser bridge and a mirror shield for both runners, so
Meanwhile, it looks like AdirondackRick is going and giving the turtle a splitting headache. Ooh, a little bit of damage taken over on Arious' side. Decided why not. And through Laser Bridge Part 1. Now we're on to Laser Bridge Part 2. Laser... what was it? Laser Harder?
First,
Laser...
yes. But what's he looking for?
At this point, I wonder if he's looking for anything to help with the damage he'll receive from Trinex.
With all that life and a blue potion, or did he use a blue potion?
No, Rick was the one that used the blue potion early on. I think?
I wonder what he wanted. Maybe he was hoping for the crystal that he was missing.
Ooh, he might have been. In all reality, I think he was looking for something that helps mitigate damage from Trinex, because as you saw, he went from almost full health to literally almost half health in one shot. Half magic would also not be a bad case of happenstance.
Half magic, true. Buttersword Trinex is a good fight, though.
Oh, it totally is.
Because you can kill each respective head with one stun, and no pee on the carpet for Arious.
This time, Trinex was a good doggo. It did not lag all over the floor.
Doggo. That makes me think of Undertale.
Oh yeah.
Here's the moment of truth, though. Does Arious realize he's missing a crystal, or does he run over to Ganon's tower?
Well, he has a burrito, that's for sure. I don't know why you'd have a burrito from Turtles. Oh, this is... Oof, that was...
Yeah, Rick wisely using the cape there. As...
No!
But he uncaped too soon!
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I got chomped in the head again. That is unfortunate. Fortunately, not the worst place to get shot or
Rick
get hit
immediately
by
mirrors
chain
and
chomp.
looks and is like, oh right, I need to finish Meyer.
Oh, okay.
So he's already got the big key, he can just run straight to Vitreous. Essentially, go mode plus big key already. This is going to be really interesting. Can Arious finish Misery Mire and make his way back up to the Death Mountain portal before Rick finishes the dungeon?
You know, at this point, that's a good question, because right now, they both have the big key. It's really a matter of going through the dark room, which he already has the lamp, so it's not even going to be like struggling and fumbling in the dark.
Well, here's the thing, Rick might have to go out of his way to look for a small key. I mean, Arious did it, he looked for that small key in the big chest. We know that the important small key was on the laser bridge, and so basically Rick is still looking for a small key, whereas Arious is not. And Arious is in a shorter dungeon as well. But it's that overworld travel from Death Mountain, from the Old Man Cave up to the portal, that's going to make a big difference here.
Who would have thought it came down to this?
Who would have thunk it?
Ooh, that is a lot of damage to take from those pokies. And it looks like Rick is going for the big chest, which is going to have a heart key, a heart piece in it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take an unnecessary risk at this point when he's coming up on the end of the run. Meanwhile, I mean, Arious is also going to have silver arrows against Vitreous, which I don't know if that's actually faster than the visible stab dash strat that Rick did.
I'd say if you have a good enough aim, it's probably comparable, but I don't know about faster.
Well, he's choosing to do silver arrows. He's going to stick a needle in Vitreous's eye.
That's a pretty brutal eye surgery. Ooh, we got the Christos bump from Rick.
This looks stupid close. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, this is coming down to the wire.
So Rick's got a handful of rooms left in Turtle Rock. I think Arious is going to just beat him out to Ganon's Tower, so it's...
But you know what that means.
Get your guesses in.
We are now approaching Ganon's Tower. In the first part of Ganon's Tower, there are 22 chests that we might be seeing opened before we see whichever chest holds the big key. Feel free to guess right now between 1 and 22 how many we're going to be seeing, or if you are feeling extra sassy like I know I am, you can guess a location. I'm going to guess, as usual, top left Armos chest. However, now that I said that, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be in Bob's chest, but I'm sticking with my first guess.
Top left randomizer room chest. The room where you
nice.
step on the button and blow up the wall. Yeah. So Rick's biggest setback, besides dropping some frames here, is honestly going to be that animation of picking up the crystal at the end of the dungeon. It's going to be the most time-consuming thing for him at this point.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, this is so suspenseful. I gotta see how close these runners are right now. I imagine Rick is probably close to the Trinex fight right now. Looks like he's fighting the traffic cone right now.
I thought that's actually the double bunny beam.
That's the DLC VLC boss.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So Arious is on his way to Ganon's Tower. And Rick is heck knows where.
But let's get an appropriate count for the time that he enters the tower here. And I'm going to go right from when we get to the door transition. You know, they say that VLC DLC boss is the Dark Souls of Randomizer.
You mean you don't actually need to, like, collect any gear or experience if you know the trick?
That's right, it's overly compared by all sorts of news media.
So far, a standard opening for Arious in Ganon's Tower. Small key, will he check the tile room? Looks like that's a yes. Oh, or at least he's going to check the east side.
Nope, and we are seeing a right side gamble.
Yep, fewer chests on this side, but he can continue all the way to the Armos room. Get Bob's chest in the Armos room. I don't know about you, but I hate this room. I usually don't do a right side gamble just because I don't want to have to do this room.
This is a very frustrating room to handle. I don't blame you. I tend to avoid it, but if I'm feeling like I'm getting extra trolled, I then go for it. In this case, I actually would have agreed with Arious and said, you know what, of all things, most likely, let's go to the right side, and then I would immediately go to Bob's chest. Well, looks like we can't tell when Rick got in there, so I'm just going to say that they are approximately,
But he went left side.
20 seconds apart.
So, okay, Arious mirrored out, so he is just legit behind at this point. Unless, yeah, because he's not gonna do Tower Room until last either. So yeah, Arious is straight up just.
Oh look, we have literacy.
There's a high five there for you.
And the high five of the ages.
Yeah, unfortunately the right side gamble for Arious put him behind. He thought he was behind, but now he is behind. Self-fulfilling prophecy. As seen in Oedipus Rex or Harry Potter.
I'm holding my tongue because I almost made a few internet references that would not have been acceptable for a family-friendly stream.
Yeah, that's as much as we're gonna say about the Theban plays, I think.
That's a good call. Meanwhile, Rick pulling off that very smooth avoidance of the spike.
And
Only get
avoidance
hit
of
by the fire
giant
snake.
rectangle.
Oh, there's half magic.
Nice.
Well, now we're gonna see if yours comes true. Are we going to be seeing the rando room having the key?
Yeah,
I'm
shout outs
still going.
again. Again to our restreamer Clifford the Big Red Dog. Been working overtime, making sure we have all the relevant info on AdirondackRick's stream here.
Absolutely. Sometimes. Oh, it's in the bottom right chest, not the top left.
It was like 2 inches off.
Oh, well played though.
Arious is gonna pick this up
Yes.
very soon.
So technically, I guess
It's
you could say
close.
that's number. Let's see.
He's less. I would hazard a guess that he is less than a fall to Moldorm away.
So technically, that unless he opened the 2 chests on the right, that would make that 11, 12?
Rick's stream was ahead. We didn't even notice that with the reloading of his stream. His stream was 20 seconds ahead of Arius's or something like that, and we just got him back synced up. Thanks again to Clifford the Big Red Dog for syncing up the streams, and we see how close this race actually is.
Oh my goodness! Whoa! I did not realize it was this close.
And Arious just takes the lead in the BMOS Red Mimic room.
1 room ahead of each other, at most. This is a race of execution, and wow,
It's kind of funny. It's like you thought Rick was ahead, but
Right.
his clock was ahead.
You thought it was Rick that was ahead, but it was me, Dio, all along.
I haven't played Final Fantasy VII in a while. Sorry.
Nope, that was a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference. Don't worry, just nerding out on my own level. Anyways. Now they both enter the gauntlet, literally the extent of half a room from each other. One floppy example of execution could end up causing a big enough distance between the two.
Don't say floppy. That's racist against bunnies.
Ooh, okay,
the hell?
sloppy. Oh, and we're getting a potion up.
So, well, that's kind of interesting because
And a
Arious is taking the time to powder this bunny beam, which might throw off his Land Mode 2 fight. Whereas Rick's gonna skip that because Land Mode 2 actually starts spawning while you're in this room that Rick just dashed through. So Rick's gonna have a faster Land Mode 2 fight if he executes well. Unfortunately, getting a stupid fast pattern. Stupid botwoon.
Lamolus 2, also known as the bot flies of Hyrule. Don't YouTube that one. Ooh, getting a very quick Wizrobroom number 2.
I love seeing that one cycle, and it looks easy, but I've never gotten it.
The one cycle is decently tricky, from what I've been seeing. It's really just getting used to the timing.
AdirondackRick entering the Firebar Torch room just as Arious was leaving it. He's gonna be fine on magic with half magic, though. He's gonna have to pick up the jar in the next room, which I think Arious skipped. But then he might skip the jar in the bunny beam room, who knows?
We'll certainly find out either way. Ooh, Rick taking one little shot of a laser.
So both runners also have Butter Sword, which means and Silver Arrows, which means the Ganon fight's going to be as easy as it's going to be.
Yeah, there is no doubt in my mind that both of these runners are going to have a easy time with the damage, so long as they don't, say, take a hug from Ganon. Oh!
Validation compass.
Looks like you got a little more exploring to do if you want to find a good male.
Probably one of the most difficult things to execute well in Ganon's Tower is what Arious has coming up here, the Aghanim 2 fight, so...
Oh! Rick completely ignoring the validation chest.
But he saved time? Oh, got a little... So I believe this blue ball pattern will be standardized between the two runners. Oh man, Arious. Wow, that's
getting a 2-hit off for Rick.
Nerves showing.
Oh, and another double hit.
This is absolute bonkers.
Ooh, only a single hit on that one. Looks like that's at 5 on Rick's side. And I think 4?
Oh man, Arious was trying to get that the real Aghanim hit, but then he got blue balled.
Oh no.
Alright, he's done. At about 2:05:35.
Oh my goodness. 2:05:40.
5 seconds behind about Rick is. This is like down to who does the phase 4 Ganon strat where you get the arrow in before lighting the torch. Like that's how close this race is.
Yeah, this is literally coming down to who's going to get a double versus a triple shot. Or a single versus a double shot.
Wow, some cheese facts.
Oh, that is awesome. Who doesn't like cheese? Shoutouts to all my lactose intolerant friends.
Both of them employing cape strats here, which isn't going to save them time, but it will save them a headache.
Absolutely.
So remember these teleport patterns, which would be random in a normal vanilla race, are going to be standardized between the two, so there shouldn't be any time lost or gained in Phase 3. It's all going to be down to Phase 4, the absolute final seconds of the run, guys. It looks like Rick is already equipped Silver Arrows. He's going to go for the, and so is Arious.
Oh, they're going for gold.
Oh, he missed a torch glitch. Will that be the couple seconds?
Oh my god! Oh, they both did!
Oh, Arious got a second. He got the kill in.
Oh,
and
Rick missed that last one.
Both runners done. So we have Arious13 finished with a time of 2 hours, 7 seconds, and 39 seconds. AdirondackRick finished in second place with a time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 57 seconds. So it looks like Arious won with a lead of a mere 18 seconds. He will be your victor and moving on to the next round of the bracket stage. Congratulations to both runners for an amazing race. Thank you so much for both of them. And give them both a follow one more time. Can't stress that enough. The runners are the stars of the show, the guys that are doing the most work and have the most pressure on them, and you guys need to show them some love.
Absolutely. Oh, now we're just waiting in the waiting room because we are definitely going to be getting at least Arious, and I assume also Rick, joining us in voice. My goodness, that match, that was the trolliest shenanigans. And, let's see. Now I just gotta wait on them, and I'm still processing this whole seed. The whole seed was nothing but troll the entire time. Hey, and the first one to join us is AdirondackRick. Rick, congrats on beating that trolley seed and GG.
There's nothing like going into the Ganon fight thinking, how did they not finish? And only find out it was that close.
Oh, it was insanely close. It was hilarious that both of you, the entire time, were a crew to. Oh, and also before I continue that, welcome Arious and GG and congrats.
What a close race! Oh my goodness, I thought I was so behind for so long.
Both of you have no
the same
idea.
feeling.
Both of you have no idea. We watched you both going through those jitters of how far behind am I, but in all reality, both of you were akin to the odd couple of runners. You each had items that the other needed to progress the entire time.
I actually forgot that I could do pod. I was like checking all this overworld stuff. I was like, man, what did I forget? Like, I think I missed something. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go up Death Mountain anyways, because maybe I can progress from there.
Yeah,
And
one
then
of
I found-
the most disheartening things to see is a movement item like boots, like flute, that late in a seed, and then also realizing, wow, this was actually on the table for a long time, since it was not locked behind a dark room.
And my whole thing was, come on, please don't be Quake. Please don't be Quake.
Yeah, we were sitting there because when we saw you immediately leave ice and then head elsewhere, we went, wait a minute, he thinks he's in go mode, he's taking the gamble, oh no.
Oh no, my health was bad for me. Oh, when I left? Oh,
No, when Rick left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played Ice Palace as if I was in Go mode, and then I did everything else. I mean,
Right, I mean, because you had 2 out of 3 medallions. Turtle Rock was an unknown. Plus, you have 6 overworld locations right next to it. Like, who wouldn't have done what you did in your shoes?
I know. And then to find out that the Quake is so close, and they gave you the key in the first chest.
Oh, I know.
One of the biggest factors in this race, where AdirondackRick saved a ton of his time. Arious put off pedestal for a long time. Rick was actually quite early in doing a blind pedestal pull and finding that red cane. Rick, what made you decide to do that?
At that point in time, I'm running out of options. I'm like, screw this. The only dungeon I can beat right now is going to be Skull Woods. Let's go in there. Let's finish this. Let's blind pull this pedestal.
So more than anything, a reluctance to go into a dungeon knowing that you can't finish it.
I was so scared. I did like all the dungeons as I came by them. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do Eastern because I'm here. And I was like, I'll do. What was the second one? Thieves Town. I'm like, okay, I'll just complete Thieves Town. I'm like, man, I feel really bad now because I finished 2 pendant dungeons. And I was like, oh boy, I feel really behind.
My thing was the game gave you the bow in the very first chest. Why is it giving you the bow in the first chest? Oh, it must be something in Eastern.
That's what I thought.
That's funny because that's a sequence break because you were supposed to go into pod to get the flute to go to Death Mountain to get Lamb.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But not without the Titan's Mitt.
Yep.
I think really the theme of this seed was this seed wants you to go into dungeons and full clear and complete them, right? So AdirondackRick, in the early stages of the race, did that. He got all his pendants, he got all of his items out of the dungeons toward the beginning of the seed, got the amazing blind pull of the red cane on the pedestal. Meanwhile, Arious got the items out of Skullwoods, pieced out, got most of the items out of Ice Palace, pieced out. But Arious had to revisit those dungeons, whereas Adirondack finishing them on the first go allowed him to do that blind pedestal pull, which was amazing and gained a huge amount of time, but unfortunately didn't continue with that trend when going in the Ice Palace.
Yeah, like I said, it was like, I have 2 of the 3 pendants. It's like hindsight's 2020, especially like I said, given the fact that it gave you the key in the first chest, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's your Quake right there.
Oh, and then I got super excited post Kane. I was like, okay, Death Mountain. And I was like, oh wait, no, I forgot.
Yeah,
Oh.
one of the things about Randomizer is you really cannot blame a runner for making a statistically correct decision, like thinking I have a 67% chance of having the correct medallion and 6 possibilities of getting Quake. Like, AdirondackRick, I have to say you made the correct call in go moding Ice Palace. It was just kind of luck that
Yeah.
Quake was where it was.
Yeah, and that's the problem with both of these races. I gambled at wrong times, and it came back to haunt me. And again, in this case, it decided, oh look, you need Quake. Where do I go for Quake? Well, it's going to be easier for me to go back into Mire and check what's behind the movable torches.
Yeah.
Mushroom. And that's the other problem is that
The
I
mushroom.
found was a fetch quest, so it just threw me off the scent.
And then you turned in Gary's lunchbox, and he had already eaten the lunch and just had the spoon left over, which led to another fetch quest.
Oh yeah, that was really funny for me too.
Well, you
Glentai, what was your
if you
favorite
guys-
part of the race?
That whole race is, I'm still processing that because several times there were cases where the gloves had been found by Arious in Catfish, while Rick,
AdirondackRick, yeah.
thank you. me in English not happening today.
I think it's a mountain chain or something.
it is.
Rick had already found the fire rod. He had already gone and grabbed.
So
I
it
think
was
it was
like the
the
odd
hammer?
couple race, like you said before. They all had the complementary items.
And it just kept going back and forth. And for a while, we didn't realize that Rick's stream got ahead. So when it finally resynced, then all of a sudden, the supposed lead that we thought was there was actually so much closer. In Ganon's tower, there was a point where you were both less than half of a room away from each other.
Oh my Aghanim fight! I'm sitting there. I'm like, I can see that he didn't done yet. I'm like, oh my goodness, how close is this? And then I just like Aghanim. Ouch.
18 seconds. Literally
Yeah,
18.
For any of you guys watching who've never played in a tournament setting before, and you think, oh, they're just running a game, it's a speed run. They do this all the time. It is completely different when you're in a one-on-one race in a tournament setting. It's just
no.
the emotions and the nerves that go on are just there's apples and onions or oranges. I mean, onions are even more different from apples and oranges are. It's apples and onions.
On that point, as much as I want to keep talking, because I could talk about this race easily for another half hour, I just found out that I have literally 7 minutes to get us going out of here for the next race that's coming up. So by all means, we encourage you to check out the next race coming up here. And if you enjoyed what you saw and want to see some more speedrunning and randomizer goodness, please make sure to go and keep a good follow on all of our channels here, not only on here, but also on Speed Gaming and as well as Randomizer Mania. And make sure to follow your runners and the rest of the crew for any more speedrunning and randomizer goodness, especially since there's going to be a heck of a lot more of it coming up. Speaking of which,
We have a good question from chat. We have a good question from chat, and I do want to ask this. Arious, at what point did you realize you were missing the crystal from Misery Mire?
Oh, I paused late in Turtle Rock, and I was like, "Oh yeah." I just,
You know what?
uh,
You know what? If you had not realized that, if you had run over to Ganon's tower and waited for the cutscene with 6 crystals, that was the difference in this race. That's how insanely close it was.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
was coming down to one little mishap was the difference. Like I died to Mothula. There's a difference right there.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Wow. That is insane.
I think I was just super fortunate because I was that it was pedestal. Otherwise, I felt like I lost. I was like, I had like 2 pendants in my, and then I thought I only found out where the flute was because I found Lantern on Death Mountain. I was like, oh, wait, what? And then I was like, oh, it's obviously in Pod.
Glenta, I know you were showcasing this race coming up in 5 minutes right here on this channel, but
Yes.
this race is between Aaron Doby and VTorp.
Yes.
VTorp is like the guy. Like he's the guy that just stepped in. I mean, Randomizer already existed before VTorp came along, but he stepped up to the plate and he made so many improvements and updates over the last less than a year. So like all this stuff you guys see, a lot of the text that's put in has been written by VTorp. You definitely want to stick around and see his race. And Ari Doby, no slouch either. Oh, that's
absolutely. This whole thing's going to be amazing. But sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say one last thing.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I wanted to thank you guys for commentating and thank Clifford for the restream. It's been a blast being in this tournament. It's just been a lot of fun. Thank all the restreamers and everybody else. And Arious, I'm pulling for you now.
Thanks, man, and thanks to everyone else too. Like this classy guy just said.
So I just want to ask one question real quick to our victor tonight, Arious. What do you think was the big takeaway? What did you learn from this seed that you're going to carry on to the next stage of the bracket?
Don't give up and anything's possible.
All right. Awesome lesson learned. And we do hope to see AdirondackRick in a future tournament. Unfortunately, this will be the end of his run for this tournament. But be sure to stick around for AdirondackRick, big player on the commentary team as well.
Absolutely.
And so while we're allowing just the last couple minutes for setting up the next race, I will go ahead and let Glenn Ty bid you all adieu.
Bye. Have a good one, guys.
Hey, have a good one. GG to you both. Very awesome race. Thank you very much. And speaking of awesome races, make sure to stay on this channel for some more excellent randomizer goodness. In the meantime, that was Cross Product. And hi, I'm Glenn Ty, and we will see you later, and especially in this next race. So if that's the case, bye.